The moon is our biggest star. It burns the brightest and biggest light in our night sky. The moon makes no light of its own. It is bright in the night sky because it reflects the sun's light. How did it form? Most scientists believe something collided with the Earth that tossed out a cloud of rock and debris. While orbiting around the Earth, the rock debris came together to form the moon. So what is an orbit? An orbit is the path of one object around another object. So how long does it take for the moon to travel around the Earth? It takes about 1 month for the moon to travel around the Earth. Moon phases. The different shapes we see are called phases of the moon. We are seeing different amounts of light being reflected on the moon. How much light we see depends on the positions of the Earth, the moon, and the sun. The moon phases. New moon, full moon, first quarter and third quarter, waxing crescent, waxing gibbous, and waning gibbous. The new moon. In this picture you will see the sunlight coming in from the right, shining on the moon. In this phase, the new moon occurs when the moon is positioned between the Earth and the sun. We cannot see the moon during this phase. Full moon. In this picture you will see the sun hitting the right side of the moon. The full moon phase occurs when the Earth, the moon, and the sun are in approximate alignment. The entire moon is lit up. First quarter and third quarter moon. In this picture you also see the sun is hitting the right side of the moon. In this phase, both of these are called half moon. This happens when the moon is at a 90-degree angle with respect to the Earth and the sun. Waxing crescent moon. As you will see in this picture, the sunlight is coming from the right side, hitting the moon. The waxing crescent phase happens when the sunlit portion is increasing, but still is less than half. Waxing gibbous moon. In this picture, the sunlight is still coming from the right side, hitting the moon. The waxing gibbous phase, the sunlit portion is still increasing, but now it is more than half. Waning gibbous moon. In this picture, the sun is still hitting the right side of the moon. The waning gibbous phase happens after the full moon and the light is continually decreasing. Waning crescent. In this picture, the sunlight, just in all the other pictures, is coming from the right side, hitting the moon. In this phase of waning crescent, the light wanes until it turns into a new moon. A close-up view of the moon's surface shows dark patches astronomers call plains or seas. Other areas are covered with craters, mountains, and valleys. The moon's craters were formed between 3.5 and 4.5 billion years ago when meteors pounded its surface. What is a lunar eclipse? A lunar eclipse is when the sun and the Earth are exactly lined up. This is when a lunar eclipse happens. The Earth blocks off the sunlight that usually lights up the moon. A lunar eclipse can last up to 3.5 hours. A high and low tide. The moon's pull, called gravity on the ocean, is strong enough to cause tides. Both high and low tides happen about 13 hours twice a day. High tide is the rising of the ocean's water, and low tide is the receding. What is the temperature on the moon? The temperature varies greatly. Scientists estimate that it may rise as high as 200 degrees Fahrenheit and fall as low as negative 350 degrees. Is there gravity on the moon? Gravity on the moon's surface is about 1/6 of Earth's gravity. An example of this would be, if you can leap 5 feet on Earth, that means you could leap 30 feet on the moon. Did man go to the moon? On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Buzz Aldrin of the Apollo 11 mission became the first men to walk on the moon. Myths. One myth is that there are legends that say the full moon can change people into werewolves. Another myth says some American Indians believed it was not good to go hunting if the points of the crescent moon were upward. Some people used to think the moon was made of cheese because of the shapes and shadows on the moon's surface. Hey Diddle Diddle, the nursery rhyme, has the famous line, "The cow jumped over the moon."